But that pure subject cannot be objectified. So it is unknown, unseen, nameless, formless. But it gets objectified through all the bodies. It gets objectified through the bodies. So that supreme reality alone expresses as so many bodies. And with so many bodies, as so many eyes, so many hands, so many legs, it alone expresses as that. It's like this light cannot be seen, but when I put the finger, it expresses itself like a finger. It is not a finger, but it expresses as a finger. Similarly, that pure consciousness expresses itself as Kshetrajna, and as Kshetrajna, it appears to have hands and legs and eyes and nose and all the equipment. So Bhagavan says, Sarvataha Panipadam Tata. So that supreme reality has got as though hands everywhere and legs everywhere. Sarvatokshi Shiro Mukham Akshihi. Akshi is our eyes. It has got eyes everywhere, and Shiraha, head everywhere, and Mukham, face, mouth everywhere. Means everyone's eyes, everyone's nose, everyone's hands, legs is a proof of the existence of that supreme reality. The eyes, hands, legs are not the supreme, but the supreme alone is expressing as Kshetrajna, and as Kshetrajna it reveals all these eyes, hands, legs, and it expresses as them. So sarvata panipadam tata sarvatokshi shiro mukham sarvata shrutimaloke sarvam avrutya tishtati. It has got sarvataha shruti, it has got ears everywhere. And in this world, and sarvam avrutya, and pervading all, covering all or pervading all, it exists. That supreme means your own self. See, just imagine yourself before you were born, or just imagine yourself free from that sense of I am also. See, the grossest we experience ourselves as I am the body. But if you drop that idea of the body, I experience myself as I am. In that I am, drop the idea of I, and only am remains. The impersonal, pure consciousness, impersonal, pure existence. But that impersonal, pure existence alone expresses not only through this body, but through all the bodies. When we look, suddenly we find that we have many eyes, many ears, many nose. And that's what we had seen in the 11th chapter, is the description of that supreme reality alone, but expressing through the entire cosmos. Expressing through everything. It's most amazing. It doesn't have a shape of its own, but whatever shape is there, whatever shape the object has got, the reality expresses through that shape. The light which is flooding the sky has got no shape, no size. But if a ball-like structure, our moon comes, then it reveals like a spherical that ball. But if a some other object comes, it will reveal as a long object. But that light by itself is neither long nor short, nor spherical. It doesn't have any form, any name. And that is our own real nature. We have to have the courage and that fearlessness to drop all forms and recognize that formless, our own self. It is not some third person, or we are not talking about some other God or someone. It is our own self. not about any imaginary God or imaginary being or imaginary some future life or something. It is here and now. What Vedanta is talking about is here and now. While alive, we have to recognize it. If somebody promises you that after death you will get a good place in heaven and all, that promise cannot be rectified. Like you cannot come and complain also. Eh? Like they were selling parachute, and they said that our parachute is the best in the world. If you jump from the plane and all, and it opens up. But in case it doesn't open, we will replace it. But you have to come yourself. So, if religions, they promise that after that you will go to Swarga or go to this place, that place. No guarantee, huh? Nobody can guarantee. Only the scriptures, you will have to have faith in them. But once a person dies, then you don't know. Because who goes? That flood of light is there, and that drop of water, let us say, and that light is shining, and that water dries up. Who goes where? Many people ask the question, oh, is there a life after death, or what happens, where was I before? First find out who are you now? Who are you now? Are you born now? If you are born now, then we can talk about your life and death and afterwards and before and all. So that Kshetratnya, what we call I, the pure I consciousness, that we have to recognize, and that is indicated here as having hands and legs everywhere. So we should not identify only with this. Understand that all the beings of this world is expressing, that same truth is expressing through all of them. See, for example, how do you know that you have eyes? Suppose you don't see into the mirror. How do you know that you have eyes? We know that we have eyes because we can see. But you are not seeing your eyes, you are seeing a flower. How do you know that you have eyes? Now, the very fact that I am seeing a flower, there must be eyes which are seeing flowers. Similarly, how do you know that pure reality exists? It exists because I am aware of this body. I am aware of the changes happening. So that awareness is there. That pure awareness without awareness of something, that pure awareness is what is indicated here as Brahma. But how do you know that Brahma is there? Because you are aware now. You are not aware of Brahma, but you are aware of something. That means that awareness is there. That pure consciousness is there. So one has to recognize it in its pure form. So Sarvata Shrutim Alloke, it has got ears everywhere, and it has pervading everything, it exists. Sarvam Avritya Tishtati. It's most fascinating. Again, when we say that, oh, it has got eyes everywhere, legs everywhere, doesn't mean that it has really these eyes and legs everywhere. It is indicated, its presence is understood through the eyes, legs, or through all these bodies. But by itself, it is free from eyes, free from legs, and that is what is said now in the next verse. Sarvendriya guna bhasam Sarvendriya vivarjitam Asaktam sarvabhracheva Nirgunam guna bhoktrucha Sarvendriya guna bhasam Sarvendriya vivarjitam Sarva Indriya Guna Abhasam. This supreme reality, it shines through all the senses. It shines through all the senses, through the eyes, through the ears, through the nose. See, these are all matter. They do not have life of their own, they do not have consciousness of their own, but they appear to have life, appear to have consciousness because of the presence of that consciousness. Just as the moon doesn't have light of its own, but because of the presence of that light, it appears as though it is having light. It shines like anything. And what we are seeing is really not the moon, but we are seeing the reflection of that light only. Reflected on that object. In our eyes, what goes is light, not the moon, but only that portion which is reflected, and we say that it is the moon. So that supreme reality expresses through all our indriyas, not only the organs of perception, but also through the mind, through the senses. I have the ability to think, to feel, to see, to taste, to touch, because of the presence of consciousness. If that consciousness presence is not there, then these are all dead material. They have no life of their own. So the reality shines through the senses, but the reality itself is free from all the senses. Sarvendriya vivarjitam. Its presence is seen through the senses, but it itself doesn't have any senses. It's like, again, the light. The presence of the light is seen because of the objects, but the light itself doesn't have any objects. Like this light, if that object is not there, you will not even know that there is a light. But when the object comes, kahan gaya? See, that light is seen. But when there is no object, the light is not seen. Similarly, the senses are the objects, which objects to the consciousness, and then the consciousness get expressed through those senses as the knowing principle, as I know, I see, I hear, I taste, I touch. But it itself has got no eyes, no ears, no nose. Sarvendriya vivarjitam. And it is asaktam. Though it is expressing through the senses, it is not attached to anything. It remains unattached, untouched, uncontaminated ever, like space. Though everything exists in space, space remains uncontaminated. Asaktam. Sarvabhrutcheva, but at the same time it supports everything. It is that which supports. The pure awareness, pure consciousness supports by giving existence to the phenomenal world also. The phenomenal world really doesn't exist, but that reality gives its temporary existence to it. It's like our dream. In your dream, who exists? You exist. But what about the dream world? The dream world doesn't exist. But I saw it. Yes, you were giving it existence temporarily. Your existence was important. Your existence was giving existence to the dream world. When you woke up, when you stopped giving existence to the dream world, it just disappeared. Similarly, the world which we see is getting existence, it getting its reality appearing because of the presence of consciousness. Consciousness is supporting the world. If one is not conscious of the world doesn't exist. If you are not conscious of the world doesn't exist. You cannot say it exists for someone else. You alone are there. that consciousness alone. If consciousness is not there to be conscious of the world, that world doesn't exist. So, asaktam sarvabhrutcheva, it is the support of all. Nirgunam, swayam, it is without any qualities, without any gunas. No sattva gun, rajogun, tamogun in this pure consciousness. But as the kshetrajna, it also becomes the enjoyer of these gunas. Guna bhoktru. By itself it has got no qualities, but when it is associated with objects, then it enjoys the qualities of the objects. See, the pure reality doesn't have any eyes, but when it is associated with the matter which is capable of becoming eyes, then it becomes eyes and it enjoys sight. It enjoys color and form. Material dissolves, that identification with that dissolves. In that pure reality, there are no eyes, there are no colors, there are no forms. So as kshetrajna, it enjoys the qualities of nature, guna bhoktru, but swayam nirgunam, by itself it is free from all qualities. I am saying it, but it is you yourself, each one of you who is sitting here and who is not sitting here also. It is your own real nature. You are not the body. You are that consciousness, but not consciousness associated with the body also, but that pure consciousness, free from all association. And that consciousness alone is shining in all the bodies. When we identify with that consciousness, and still we are aware of the world, we will come to know that I alone am there in everyone. Like Bhagavan Krishna. Bhagavan Krishna says, I alone am there in everyone. Bhagavan Krishna is the realized one who has identified with that supreme reality. He says, I am there in everyone. In the birds, in the animal, in the sun, the moon. Yadadittyagatam tejaha tat tejo viddhi mamakam. He says the light which is there in the sun, you understand it is my own light. This world exists in me. Maya tatamidam sarvam. Everything is pervaded by me and everything exists in me. Everything is supported by me. But in my pure nature, nothing exists. This world is not there. Nachaham teshu vastitaha. Nachamasthani bhutani. In me, there is no world. But if world is there, is seen, it is supported by me. So the world and the seer of the world is together born in that supreme reality and is dissolved in that supreme reality. So asaktam sarvabhrutcheva nirgunam gunabhoktrucha. These are the great verses of contemplation. And when we have gained those 20 values, we will be able to appreciate it. If you are appreciating it with whatever degree, that much degree you have those gunas, those jnanam, those values. If we cannot appreciate it, then we should try to develop those values. Then we will be able to appreciate, and it will lead us to our own nature. Further, Bhagavan says, Bahirantascha bhutanam